Hello, lovelies. Welcome to the dollhouse. I am your yarn host, Kira. I'm still feeling a bit off, but we'll try to get something informative going. Progress on the murder yarn. I have progress on the murder yarn, but I'm frustrated. Nicotine of the day is Holy Moly from WIPS. Do not listen to the warning, because nicotine in and of itself is not an addictive or harmful chemical in moderation, much like caffeine. The government doesn't want you to know that. I get my nicotine and I get my caffeine, and then I don't have to worry about going all stabby on people. Murder yarn. In case you haven't watched any of the previous, Bernat Blanket Big in Red Splash. Affectionately in my house known as Murder Yarn, deemed by one of my local Michaels employees. This is a Michaels exclusive, and it's very frigging hard to get enough of these to make something. It sells out online very fast. Not all the stores carry it, but if you can find a local store, you can call them and have them hold it, which is what I had to do. This calls for a 25mm hook. I got said 25mm hook, knowing that I have never worked with a chenille type yarn. I don't do plushies. I don't do fuzzies. I don't do chenille. I don't. But murder yarn called to me. 3 balls later, and very much frustrations. Now, it's a crime scene blanket. I did not crochet this crime scene blanket so much as I wrestled it into form. Unfortunately for me, I am half done. And now I need to decide whether to keep wrestling with the 25mm hook or using the 30mm hook and frogging it and doing it again. So yeah, not really sure which of those I'm going to do. I did try a couple different methods of joining the ends of the yarn, so maybe that'll help. There are a lot of I went through and I watched a lot of tutorials, a lot of how-tos, because I have never used yarn this big. And I realized that I do not know everything. So I watched some tutorials and figured some things out. The one thing about this is it's grippy on itself. It is not an easy thing to frog back out. It is not. You kind of have to, every step of the way with this yarn, you kind of have to wrestle with it. I tried joining with the surgeon's knot, which if you can position, you can only get the knot so tight because it's very fluffy. And if you can position the knot to where it's in the middle of one of the stitches, it's not very noticeable. But if you take the two ends of the yarn from both skeins, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. There is like a little core in the center of this. See that little core in there? What you want to do is you want to find that little core in both strands when you're starting a new skein, and just take a little bit of thread and stitch those ends together, and you have a pretty much invisible join. Now you do have to be careful not to go just through the fluff. You have to make sure that you do get through that center cord several times, because if you just sew the fluff together, it just pulls right apart. So as long as you get that center cord on both strands, you know, loop that through a couple times, make a good knot in it, you have an invisible join. The surgeon's knot works okay, but I don't know how well that's going to hold up over time and over wear. Even though this yarn grips itself, I don't like the thought of those knots coming unraveled. So I think the rest of the knots I am going to join with a little bit of sewing thread. And it is easier if you don't use a darning needle, because darning needles are not sharp. If you use a sewing needle to sew the ends together, it's much easier than trying to get a darning needle through. I know these are insignificant points, but they're also points that I didn't think of at first. So maybe I'll save you some trouble. My problem with the 25 is it needs a longer handle. If I'm using, this is all I have to grip on. And if 2 loops of yarn take up this much space, you don't have very much left to hold. So it's very fiddly. It's very wrestling, but it's doable. You just kind of have to, yeah. This is not something I'm going to be doing a tutorial on anytime too soon. And you want to remember not to make your knots too tight, because you still have to get through them to make the next row. So you want to try to do, I'm doing double crochets in the back loop, and it's just really, it's really an upper body workout. You feel it in your chest, you feel it in your shoulders, and it feels like it should work up faster than this. But it's just so much wrestling. It's just so much wrestling. But I have yet to figure out. Yeah, crime scene is a really good name for it. It's got browns. It's got reds. It's got little watered down spots. It's got a real abundance of colors in it against the white background, but it just, crime scene cleanup is a good blanket for watching horror movies, I think. It does make an incredibly heavy blanket, though. I am only almost halfway done. This is my third skein, and I have 4 left to go. I don't know if they're all going into one giant blanket because it's going... This weighs nothing. This weighs nothing. This is very airy and light and squishy and marshmallowy. But once you condense those into stitches, oh boy. This may double as a weighted blanket in the winter time. So I did get a 30mm hook to see if that would help me wrestle with it less, because longer hook, more leverage. This is a boy hook. It's the only one I could find that wasn't like $30. Amazon. But that is a project that I have to take in bits and pieces, because just picking up the blanket it's heavy now. It's very daunting. So, added bonus, I don't like crochet patterns. I don't like written patterns. I have some kind of pattern dyslexia that lets me not I don't understand written music either. So it's just, my brain does not know. So tutorials have helped me tremendously getting back into the crochet, getting back into the work, relearning my stitches. And I've relied heavily on like cinnamon stitches and Crystal from Bag a Day, and you know, all your really good yarn influencers. But Crystal had a good point the other day. She said, you know, you don't need tutorials. You don't need patterns. You don't need to be able to read patterns. If you know your stitches, pick up some yarn, pick up a hook, and fiddle around. See what goes with what. See what stitches look good together. You don't need a pattern. You don't need to learn to read patterns. It's helpful. But once you know your basic stitches, you can look at something and pretty much figure out how to make it. Some people like to read patterns. Some people think patterns are easier. Whatever works for you, there is not one proper way to crochet. You do you. I'm watching tutorials. And I made a little bit of a mistake when Joann's was having one of their doorbusters. And I thought, well, I can make pillows. I will get a box of polyfill. Little did I know that 5 pounds of polyfill comes in a ginormous box. So I said, okay, crocheting experiment to help me destash and get rid of this ginormous box of polyfill. So I decided to get a couple of crochet kits from Amazon just to see if they're worth it. Now, I had racked up some Amazon gift cards and bonuses, and I hit some coupon sales, so I did not pay retail for these, but I did pay for these. I have not delved into them yet. I have gotten kits from Mary Maxim. I have gotten kits from Joann's. I have gotten kits from, and the big box manufacturer kits I like to get for stuff that I don't know how to make, but I can see myself making quite a bit of them once I learn. And that's turned out pretty well. But I've seen a lot of these kits that just... This was $20, $19.99 from Crochet Box. Crochet Box. This is the Gift of Love Crochet Kit. Start your crochet journey in 4 easy steps. It gives you an ergonomic crochet hook, pre-started first round. So they already did the magic circle for you. Safety eyes, custom beginner yarn, sturdy sewing needles, spare yarn and cotton. Printed and PDF tutorial. It's packaged nice. It is packaged nicely. The yarn is weird, as kit yarn tends to be. The yarn is, oh, this is your started first round. This is your started first round. And they put three stitch markers in the first round? I don't understand. This is not very much yarn though. This is not very much yarn. This is most of it. So I have mushrooms. Hello, mushy duo. That's cute. It does come with polyfill. Oh, it comes with a much better quality hook than I expected. Give them some credit there. That's very Clover Moore style. That is a 3.5, which is very unfortunate because that's not a size I use a lot, but it's really got a decent soft handle on it. Then you have your little envelope of notions, which I don't know what this brown thread is for. Oh, they used brown thread for the mouth. I gotcha. So this is your embroidery for the mouth and the little cheeks. And your safety eyes. And it actually does come with a metal darning needle, which most of these kits don't come with metal things. That's nice. Comes with a metal darning needle. And you know, your standard little safety eyes and washers. And 3 more stitch markers, because one never has enough stitch markers. I have so many stitch markers. It did also come with a plastic darning needle, if that is your preference. I much prefer metal darning needles, so I'm glad it came with one. So that was packaged nicely. The yarn's a little weird. This is very much screams. It's a chain spun yarn. Wow, my voice cracked really bad there. It's a chain spun yarn. And if you're my age, you will understand 90s cheap shoelaces. It feels like 90s cheap shoelaces. I might have to use it just to see how it comes out, because I am not used to working with chain spun yarn. As you can, I don't know if you can get enough detail on the camera. I keep going the wrong way. You would think, I did a show for like 15 years. You would think I would understand how this works. I don't know if you can see, but there are no plies to come loose. It is just chain spun, like shoelaces. Though it does come with a nice, oh, look at that. It has the scanny things. It has the scanny things so the phone kids can just click, 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 click. But it does actually have written instructions. How to read a crochet pattern. Maybe that'll help me. It does come with a link to a video tutorial, which I might have to use. Basic Stitches Introduction. This also has the scanning code for the millennials that do not know how to book. Okay, for being made in China, the instructions are very thorough. It shows you how to slip stitch and single crochet and double crochet and half double crochet. And increase and decrease, and it has pictures. And it's not okay. I was about to say it's not very broken English. It does need some edits, but it's a lot clearer than it could be. I have seen a lot worse instructions. So, this one might be fun. I bought this because I figured, once I figure out how to make a mushroom, I'll just make them over and over. That can stash bust. That can use my scraps up. And it can use that big box polyfill. So, I will give Crochet Box credit. That's... yarn's weird, but anything that you buy, especially from China, Japan, Taiwan, their definition of yarn is not our definition of yarn. It's not quite the same thing, or the translation doesn't work. I have found a lot of times that it's just called knitting wool, even if you're not knitting with it, even if it doesn't have wool in it. Although I did learn milk cotton does have milk in it. So, we're going to try that one. This is from Crochet. This is the little succulent plant box. It says hello to you. I love these things. Knitting markers, yarn, eye, stuffing, scissors, instructions, and crochet hook is what's in the box. Now, if you can open the box, little heart. Okay, this one's not wrapped as pretty. This one doesn't have all the... This is bundled nicely, though. I will give them credit. Taking teeny tiny yarn and making it into teeny tiny skeins is freaking adorable. Taking the tiniest yarn and making it into the tiniest skeins is even better. I'm a sucker for shit like this. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. I must need more coffee. I'm cussing. I am a sucker for the cute, though. 20-year-old hates me for saying, 20-year-old me hates me for saying I'm a sucker for the cute, but I'm old. Cutes are neat. And polyfill, vacuum packed polyfill, so it's going to go. This one came with 2 hooks. Oh, bonus! These are both 2.5, so I must have just got an extra hook. It's the same handle. So is it just the same company making the same boxes? Is it this one? This one is $24 retail price. This one, though, does come with the spiffy little scissors, which are individually wrapped, which I find hilarious because I have those spiffy little, a lot of companies call them U-shears, but I have lots of these already. They come in handy for a lot of things, but it's nice that that one came with an extra one. It's nice that I got an extra hook. They also sent a metal darning needle, little eyes, and of course, because you can't have enough stitch markers, we got some more stitch markers. Although this yarn actually looks like yarn. This yarn actually looks like yarn. Oh, it has good picture tutorials. It has UK-US conversions in the front. It's got a little list of abbreviations so you know how to read patterns. That doesn't work for me because I know what they mean and I still can't read patterns. Of course, the scanny thing for the millennials. I only say that because I don't know how scanny things work, so don't be offended if you know how scanny things work. I am old and do not know how scanny things work. Although I find it funny that the picture of all of these has the little kawaii blushy glow on them. Little red tips on the plants. They suggest that you use your own color in cheeks and top of leaves with pink pencil crayon or blush. Please use your own pink pencil crayon or blush. I think maybe I'll leave my plants green. It does have nice instructions in it for each part, and it tells you how many stitches each row is, so I will give them credit. This one actually has very in-depth instructions. Is it anything you can't learn online? No, probably not. But it's nice to have everything come, you know, all in one. This would be a cute kit to buy, like, for a little kid. Just learning. Oh my god, this yarn is so... It's like a rock. Crochet. It's not the softest yarn in the world, but it's not horrible. The bigger skeins are... Oh, this one says for test. So you make your stitches properly to make a test swatch. Little skeins are cute. It's cute. It's cute. Little skeins of yarn are cute. Like I said, it's not the most fabulous yarn in the world, but it's not terrible. I haven't started working with it yet. So, you know. But at least it feels like yarn, and it doesn't feel like shoelaces. But that is my... Let's do a new thing, because I'm not frustrated enough with my life yet. So we'll be seeing if those are worth the price paid. Oh, worth the price asked. I had coupons, so, you know. But I will be making those up in the next coming days when BrainThink works. Because BrainThink doesn't work when I'm sick. When I'm sick, my brain is foggy and, you know, more than two thoughts sometimes. Yeah, it's a little crowded in there. So, we have that to look forward to. We have the murder yarn to finish. I have to finish murder yarn. Smoky Customs. I happened to mention the last time I made a crocheted bag. I happened to mention that this would look cute with Smoky Customs keychains on them because she makes keychains. So she sended me some. She sended me some keychains. She is Smoky Customs. And she's on the Twitter, or the X, or the Instagram, or the whatever. But she sent me some really cute keychains. She sent me some cutes to hook to my crocheted bags. So she sent me all kinds of cutes and some business cards to stick in my bags when I sell some bags. That was nice. Thank you very much. I love doing collabs. I love doing collabs. I love doing bartering. If you have something that I want, I will be the first one to say, you need a blanket? Because I'll make you a blanket and trade you for that. You need a scarf? You need a hat? You want a shawl? I'm all for bartering. I have traded things with crystals. I have traded things with yarn. I have traded things with baked goods. I am all on bartering. I am all up for, hey, I can do this and you can do that. Let's trade. I think the world would be a much kinder place if we got back to bartering. If we realized that we do not have all the set skills that we need, but neither does our neighbor. So maybe I can make something that they can't make, and maybe they can make something I can't make. So maybe we should trade. Pardon me. Trying to be comfortable. So, I don't know. I'm getting to be old and weird and hippie-like in my old age. I don't know. Like, you guys want to see my knee. I'm having trouble with my right knee, so I have a knee brace on, and I keep moving it the wrong way. My knee brace goes. Trying to think if I got anything else for you. I don't think I do. I don't think this is going to be a very long video. I haven't been working on much. I've been doing the murder yarn. I've been wrestling. Oh, so much wrestling. Oh, so tiring with the murder yarn. Working on a border on the Guardians of the Galaxy blanket. If you haven't seen that one, I think check my last video. I think I have the Guardians blanket on. But I'm doing a border, but I don't know if I like the border yet. I'm doing my yarn valet likes to jump off of shelves. I am doing a variegated border since these are all solid colors. But I don't know if I figured the gray and black would go because, you know, spaceships and machines and gray and black. I was gonna do 4 rounds and then take some of the leftover Guardians yarn and do a stripe of color and then do 4 rounds. But I don't know if I like the black and gray on there yet. The good thing about yarn projects is if you make something and you don't like it, you can frog it. You can take it apart and do it again. I can't tell you how many times I have taken this yarn apart and done it again just for the simple fact of when I'm medicated in stitching, sometimes I miss a stitch. And if I am less than a full row ahead, I will just frog it back and do it again. Just because I try to make it not quite perfect. I don't strive for perfection, because if you strive for perfection, you are always going to be disappointed. I put in a solid B effort. I think if you strive for perfection, then you're always going to be disappointed. I don't strive for perfection. I strive for filling my work with positive intention, and it gives me something relaxing to do. And I now have a yarn community to connect with, which is so cool. So, yes, that's it. More work on murder yarn. Gonna start working on tiny things to see if I can destash with tiny things and like throw stuffy mushrooms at people. So I guess that'll be in the next one. I had a Joanne haul to do, but I don't have the energy right now. I really don't. So I'll do a Joanne haul when everything comes in, because you know Joanne comes in like piecemeal, and you get like one bag with 3 things and a box with 8 things and a bag with 4 things, and so I'll wait till everything comes in. I'm not ordering any more yarn. I am done ordering yarn. I don't care if the Labor Day sales are still going on. I am done ordering yarn. I have enough yarn. I have to use some of the yarn I have. I have to stop treating yarn like it's a collector's item, because it's not. I bought yarn to use it. I didn't buy yarn for it to sit on a shelf and me to go, oh, that's so pretty yarn. I should make something functional out of the pretty yarn, because then I'll have a pretty functional thing instead of just pretty yarn that sits on my shelf. I am going to repeat this mantra until I believe it. I'm going to repeat this mantra until I use the yarn that I have sitting around because it's pretty. Alright, until next time, be good, be kind, be nice. Sprinkle kindness like seeds. Watch it grow. Like, subscribe, bell, whistles, things. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope I helped something, or at least you're entertained by my rambling. I don't know. Either way, till next time, thanks for stopping by. Bye, lovies.